Hey, everyone. Coming on live, what we like to call Wellness Wednesdays. And as we continue our happy challenge in our group, and whether you're in it or not, or just following along for the information, that's cool. But we wanted to talk about an important component of feeling good, performing at our best. And guess what, guys? It kind of impacts our happiness and how we show up in life. Um, so if you're coming on live today, so what we're going to be talking about is inflammation and how inflammation impacts our body and our brain, right? So if you're coming on live with us, just put live in the comments. Catching on the replay, put replay. We'll circle back and say hello. If you are coming on live, just hit that StreamYard button so we know who's kind of interacting with us and say hello. So for those of you who don't know me or new to the group, my name is Colleen Sullivan. I'm an ADHD holistic coach. And what I do is I help families find solutions for their kiddos, safer, more natural solutions, so their families can thrive. Because guess what? If one person in the family is struggling, it impacts the whole household.
Yeah,
And you
absolutely.
and I know this personally, Melissa. So let me introduce Melissa. For those of you who don't know her, she's a brain coach. She really enjoys digging behind the scenes into the science. And based on her background, her research, her trainings, she's a wealth of knowledge that we have at our fingertips. So,
Thanks.
Melissa, we're talking inflammation, and you are the expert. How does it get created in our body? How does it get chronic? How do we know what are the signs, right, of it being chronic? And why is, I'm asking you all the questions right up front. Why is the gut such an integral piece to the puzzle of lowering and controlling those levels of inflammation?
Yeah. So inflammation is a huge topic. I mean, really, when we think about inflammation, the basic example is you cut yourself and your skin gets red and a bit swollen because your immune system is going into attack mode and kind of helping protect your cells and heal, killing some tissue, but it's like activation of your immune system.
Yes, so that inflammation is good, right?
Yes, we want inflammation like that. And so we want a really healthy, robust immune system. So, a lot of times, and this is a whole other topic, but if we take a lot of steroids lower our immune function. They're immunosuppressants, right? Which sometimes our body needs in a very short period of time. But when we're on them long term, we really want our immune system to be able to activate when it needs to. But that's a whole separate topic.
Right.
So about 70 to 80% of our immune system lives in our gut. And that's pretty wild in and of itself, right? And much of the way that our microbes communicate with other parts of our body is through our immune system, through cytokines, which are a little bit more localized, and then through other kind of immune molecules, which can travel all over the body. So how does our immune system get disrupted? Well, a lot of it has to do with our gut. So if our gut is out of balance, right, if any part of our body is out of balance, our immune system is not functioning the way it should. And there's different ways to think about our immune system. Our immune system is what helps fight invaders, but it also does a lot of maintenance work in our body, kind of clearing up toxins and debris and things like that. So when our immune system isn't working at its highest level, we often see you might get sick more often, but you also kind of develop a lot more waste and toxins in the body that aren't getting flushed out, right? And that the result of that is kind of chronic inflammation, right? We're chronically dealing with our immune system attacking things in the body, right? And so that's autoimmune disease, but it's also all of our mood disorders. It's ADHD, autism, anxiety, depression. It's early onset Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, cognitive decline. Um,
Yeah.
so, so here's what I want to say about. I'm going to mention two things. I'm like talking in circles. When we think about Alzheimer's specifically, one of the things that happens during an inflammatory reaction is some cells die. And that's okay in the short term. But what's actually happening in Alzheimer's is these immune cells in our brain, microglial cells, are attacking what appear to be toxins, think it's like toxic material. And so it's creating this inflammatory response in the brain, and neurons die. And it happens over and over and over again. And so that's a lot of what's leading us to this decline cognitively.
Wow.
So, but there's other pieces to this puzzle that are fascinating too. So the way that a lot of our body signals is through our immune system. So if our immune system, if you think about a cell, right, we have this nice cell, it's going to have receptors. This is how hormones communicate. It has receptors around the cell. Well, if there's all this noise and chaos, right, and this attack of our immune system going around the cell, what happens is our hormones and other signaling molecules are less efficient, and they don't always connect to the right place on the cell. So there's a lot of misfiring.
Signaling.
So
Wow.
the issues are, cells are actually dying, but you're also getting signals that cross, right? Signals that are slow. And so all of that results in not feeling well.
Right. Feeling off and having focus issues and brain fog and all the things that kind of slow us down and take us off our game, our kids and us.
Yeah.
Wow. You mentioned that the whole neurons dying off, and this is where I kind of want to get to what can we do about this naturally, as a kind of a preventive mode, but also we can kind of, go backwards a little bit and clean up the mess that we've kind of made in our bodies and our brains, right?
Yes, we can. We can clear out a lot of the waste and toxins that are causing our immune system to go haywire. By improving the gut, what we're doing is making the barrier between the external world, which is kind of coming into our gut through our food and all of that, much less permeable. So what's getting into our bloodstream is much more refined. So there's less immune activation, right? And the same goes for the brain. So the brain, when we're really careful about supplementing at the gut level, we produce a whole bunch of different molecules, including these really important short chain fatty acids, and they seal up the barrier between our bloodstream and our brain. And that helps there be less waste in our brain, right? Less of an inflammatory response in our brain.
Important.
Yeah, it's super important. And then there's so many facets to this, right? When we sleep, we know that's a car wash, a rinse for our brain. So when we clean up our gut, right, we're changing our ability to sleep and get into deeper sleep. And so that rinsing function happens, right? So everything is connected.
Yeah.
Every piece of the puzzle matters. But as we go back to the root and our gut, it's able to support our immune system, help it be more vigilant and maintain our body better, but it also seals things up better so that our body has less kind of waste to handle.
Yeah. And that's why I love this happy challenge so much, because it's not just one thing. It's, are we moving our bodies? And all this kind of, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, drives, this whole idea of, whether inflammation in our body or not. The supplementation or happy juice, the two products that I'm thinking of are the Mentabiotics and Edge, that have that component of lowering our inflammation,
Yeah.
but also the ingredient in Edge about protecting and generating new neurons.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge, huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and there's other, and the sleep component, that and the clean eating, it's all kind of going hand in hand to making us, as healthy as we can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Healthy is happy.
Yeah. 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 And finding, letting our body find balance. Cause once it does, right, it's always the Goldilocks effect. We don't want our immune system to be too high, right? Overactive. And we don't want it to be too low where it can't be vigilant at all to anything coming in, right? We want this balance to all systems.
Yes, yes. In my conversations with Dr. Sean this past week, I had the luxury of talking with him in person, and he said that very same thing. It's that Goldilocks effect with a lot of different things, with our brain, what one of the ingredients, theanine, it's that calm, relaxed state. So it's that Goldilocks of being calm and relaxed, but alert,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So guys, if you found value in our talk today, I always do. I always learn something from you, Melissa.
Thanks.
Put value in the comments, and, let us know any questions that you have. Tag the person who invited you to our group. Because in the end, I think everyone is looking and searching for, more natural ways to heal our bodies, heal our brains. And I know that excites me when I can, find a holistic approach to just feeling my best, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Melissa. It's always
Yeah.
hop on and chat with you. And like we said, just put anything in the comments. We'll circle back and have a great day. See you soon.
Bye, everyone.